Linas Lynkyavichus, Lithuanian ex-foreign minister, is with us tonight. Hello, Mr. Lynkyavichus. My first question to you, Mr. Lynkyavichus, were you actually surprised by Trump's win?
I was not surprised. Maybe I was surprised with this difference,
Right.
I believe that it will be more equal. But yeah, 50-50, we were all saying, so it shouldn't surprise any outcome.
Exactly. Well, it didn't surprise me, but what surprised me is actually that some people in Ukraine praised that Trump won. And they said to me, their arguments were like, eventually Trump was the first and the only one to deliver lethal weapons to Ukraine. Trump talking and Trump acting is like two different personalities. He pushed Johnson to issue $60 billion and things like that. Do you think this is the case? Do you think that Trump for Ukraine is bad or good? Pardon me for my black and white terms, but what do you think it is actually?
First, I believe we have to put emotions now aside,
Yeah.
to be patient and to look what will happen, because they will form administration. Last time, if you remember, it took some time. I believe this time it will be faster, but this is also important. And you're quite right. We are looking sometimes, some looking just at the negative side of that, some trying to single out just positive. So yes, I also agree. There were some very quite good moves during his presidency. By the way, presence of American security forces in Europe were bigger than during Obama administration. It's also true. And there were some quite not just statements, but also actions which showed some kind of leadership and proactive approach. So too early to make any conclusions. And we have just to wait until things will settle down and try to make sure that our position will be as much as possible
Right.
efficient, but also united, which is a big challenge. And it was discussed also during this summit in Budapest.
Yeah, well, I agree. I couldn't agree more. But some things are actually looking good, like Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State and former CIA head. Do you know anything about him?
Yeah, he had also the same information as everyone. I had contacts with Mike Pompeo when he was state secretary, so we had meetings, and I know his position. It's very rational, positive. He understands what that means. And when we are saying that we need to reach peace, so I believe he would be one of those who would like to give just peace, It's very important to have it really, really not at any expense, and to make sure that this will be good consequences for Europe or overall security. So people like Pompeo, they will be really quite rational and very good input. But again, we don't know yet. There were some rumors. There was also rumors about Rubio as state secretary. We also remember his position, very principled position. If that would happen,
right,
he also will be among those who would like to see American stance more clear, more tough, based on arguments.
right.
Because we know any deal, any peace deal these days must be based on power arguments. Otherwise, it doesn't work for Russia.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. I wonder what Mike Pompeo would do about what is happening in Zaporizhia now, because they are gathering stockpiles of military weapons and rounds and everything, the glide bombs. And Rafael Grossi just visits and says everything is legit. It's for safety. I mean, mines on a nuclear power plant is for safety. Do you believe that there is a chance that we in Ukraine, or maybe journalists in Ukraine, or diplomats in Ukraine, can actually deliver the message to the highest chairs and persons in the West, that this is absurd?
We must be consistent. We must. It's not this time. It's not emotions. It's arguments behind.
Yes.
We know how it works. We know how it doesn't work. So we have to do that, definitely.
Okay.
And those who still believe that peace should be reached at any expense, they are wrong, because it has nothing to do with the peace.
Well,
And
absolutely.
this is very simple. And this headache, you cannot postpone. It will come back with bigger price and bigger and more, so to say, painful consequences, be it materially, be it financially, or politically. That's quite clear. So we have to be consistent, and again, not just guided by emotions, but very concrete facts on the ground.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for calming me down because I'm running through emotions. You know, when shaheeds are flying over your head, you're sometimes sliding into emotions. But um, Mike Pompeo is promising. Susie Wiles is promising as a chief of staff, first woman ever in American history at that
Yes.
high post. Very promising. Who would ever expect Trump to do that? So this is again shows us as a fact that Trump talking and Trump acting, two different personalities. So let's hope that. Do you know anything about Susie Wiles? Maybe as you know Mike Pompeo.
No, I can tell something about Pompeo, not much about the lady you mentioned. But again, let's not jump to any conclusion yet because
We're
it's too
not
early,
talking about
premature.
conclusions, right?
Whole team should be in place. Also, we know that Trump has this leadership. Even there are some rumors about his decisions or proposals, and even advisors they don't know what will be the final stance because it's up to him. And that's we know he's sometimes unpredictable. So also let's be honest and admit this fact, which is true. Unpredictability not always bad thing. By the way, and Russians also shouldn't be overjoyed by this, so to say, type of character because unpredictability for them also creates some uncertainty, which they do not like and probably. Uh, but it's not our task to make them happy or to make them like something. So our task, as I said, to continue with the consistent stance, and most probably would be very important to make it united, which will be now will be a challenge, and everybody understands that. So let's focus on what we have to do in Europe. Let's watch what they will do, and let's try to make sure that our alliance will not be split. That will be also a challenge because there are some who would like to be as splitted, divided, and that would be big victory for opponents, for our enemies, for the enemies of democracy in the world, for those who are ruining peace order as we speak. So this is
Exactly.
also a challenge we have to remember every moment.
Okay, let's remember it now. The moment is right. We are online. And let's talk about Christian Lindner that was fired by Olaf Scholz like that for Lindner said that this is because of the Tauruses, because he only mentioned the advocating for Tauruses instead of a money of 3 billion, which is okay for Ukraine, would be. What do you think of that? Because Germany is sliding into political turmoil. A coalition is killed by Scholz, and Alternative for Deutschland is just waiting like that for the snap elections. What's going on?
It's domestic politics, and we cannot add much. It's up to them to sort out what is happening. And the only thing we could wish to make it faster, as fast as possible,
True.
and to set new government if it's necessary, because we not just need efficient action by Germany, but we need leadership by Germany, and we know that how it's important. So, not to going too deep, there were some divisions in the past. So one can say that this last drop was just a pretext to finalize this conflict in the shadow of elections in US. I shouldn't say nobody, but few noticed what happened. But this is really a big challenge also for Europe, for domestic, for internal affairs. Let's hope they will sort out as fast as possible, and they will be back because they have a lot of experience in various forms of coalitions, and for them it's not a big deal to change something. But for us it's a big also wish have them efficient in lead and
Sure.
efficient lead.
Time. Time costs lives, literally, here in Ukraine. And you're absolutely right. And again, I couldn't agree more. Well, of course, with your experience, I'm always agreeing with you. That's what I do, actually, during our interviews. Mr. Lynkyavichus, thank you so very much for your precious time. We know it is precious, and your knowledge just as well. So thank you, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Thanks so much. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. Дякую. That was it for tonight. Thank you so very much for your time. We appreciate that indeed. It was me, Henry Keen, and my team at UATV English. We'll bring the hard truth in easy terms for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. Like, share, and comment. Your voice matters indeed as it helps Ukrainian voice to be heard globally. Stay safe and tuned for more at the weekly episode. Goodbye.